let's get to work on the NBA trade deadline because I think this is a massive, massive conversation around the Utah Jazz, which is where I want to start. And we're going to talk James Harden and Ben Simmons, the Lakers, all of that. But ask yourself this question. Will the Jazz win a championship? Hard stop right there. Will they win a championship? Not today, not tomorrow. I mean, do you have confidence in your lifetime, let's say, that the Utah Jazz will win a championship? And I know that seems dramatic, and I know that probably seems over the top. But I ask this question mainly because I think there's a lot of Jazz fans who don't necessarily buy into the idea that the Jazz are doing everything that they can do to win a championship. I think there's not a lot they can do at this moment to win a championship, Jake, but maybe I'm naive. I'm one of the people who believe in Ryan Smith and Danny Ainge, and I do think they win a championship within the next 5 years.
Yeah, I think, they're committed to winning, certainly, but, they're the trade deadline, again, it's this double-edged sword because they didn't do a ton. They had that one transaction, but at the same time, they weren't really in a position to do a ton, with the assets they had. So it's kind of hard to judge them off of the trade deadline. And I think, if you're a fan of this team and you've been following this team, you know what they need, where their shortcomings are, you know what needs to be done with this team. And I think that this summer, and I know we keep talking about it every day, but this summer is kind of is going to be, as I like to call, the measuring stick. Based on their actions this summer, you will know just how damn well committed they are to winning a championship while Donovan Mitchell is still a Jazz man. And I think that is truly the question. I mean, NBA franchises and teams are defined by who their best player is, who the face of the franchise is. And so, when you look at, the Jazz, in my opinion, the face of the franchise is Donovan Mitchell. Some people might tell you it's Rudy, but I'm telling you it's Donovan Mitchell. So while he's here, for the next 4 seasons or so, that window, are they committed to winning a championship? Yeah, I think they are. I just think that it's going to have to wait until this summer for them to really make foundational changes. So will they win a championship in our lifetime? Yeah, I think they will. I think Donovan Mitchell is more than capable of being the centerpiece on a championship team. But are they willing to move swiftly enough while he's still on the team to make, an NBA Finals appearance happen? That's going to be the question.
And I don't know that I'm convinced that they will move swiftly enough for Don. I think, listen, as I've told you before, I think Donovan Mitchell is a superstar. Shanahan was asking me yesterday on YouTube if I felt like he was a championship caliber leader. I do. I think Donovan Mitchell was asked to do a lot, and we assumed he was doing a lot, and it turns out that he wasn't. And when you lose, listen, everybody knows how to conduct themselves when you're winning.
Right.
Everybody knows what they should be doing when you're winning. When you lose, and the expectation is that you won't lose, and then you do lose, that's when we find out who you are and what you're made of. That's when we find out what kind of leader you are. When we start infighting in the locker room and we start taking jabs at each other passive-aggressively like a prick on social media, when we start doing all this other crazy stuff, that's when we find out who you are. That's why I tell you that this team is built around the wrong guy in Rudy Gobert. This team will be reshaped around Donovan Mitchell. I don't think there's any doubt in my mind. I have no doubt Donovan Mitchell has hit a switch and is growing as we speak into a leader. It's not going to happen this year. I firmly believe that this is a below average NBA playoff team.
Yeah.
This is an average NBA team in the regular season. They are good. They are not great. And in the NBA, the difference between good and great is spectacular.
Yes.
So what I'm telling you is I believe 100% in Donovan Mitchell. I am all in. He is a fantastic talent. He is going to develop a mid-range game this summer. I think they are going to remake this roster this summer. And I think within the next 5 years, I firmly believe, Jake, they win a championship.
Yeah, and I think if this summer you reshape the team around Donovan Mitchell and you sort of have a fresh, almost like a fresh start kind of, right? Like you're not, fresh start meaning, they're still a playoff team and they're still going to contend. It's just different faces in better positions and more, basically putting guys in better positions to succeed. Because that's honestly, when I think about this team, that's kind of what I feel like plagues them. They have a bunch of guys on this roster, for better or for worse, who are put in positions where they're not going to succeed. Like, you have, Bogey on the wing trying to guard threes who are way faster than him. Well, that's not putting him in a position to succeed, right? You put Jordan Clarkson out there for too many minutes. That's not putting Jordan in a position to succeed, And I think at the end of the day, you just have to make this roster in a way where Donovan Mitchell is a centerpiece and all the guys around him are pushing in the same direction as him and making sure that the team is all on the same page with how they're going to play the game, running good offense. Like yesterday, I don't know how many of you watched the Suns and the Bucks. That was a hell of a game last night. And the one thing I noticed in that game with both teams is they're running offense. Early in the game, they're running sets. They're running plays to get high percentage looks to get their team into the flow of the game. And that's one thing we've talked about on the show where I feel like with the current roster and its setup, they're not really able to run good offense. Good offense for the Utah Jazz is drive and kick and swing the ball. That's good offense for them. It isn't, hey, we're going to run a set and we're going to do X, Y, and Z to get X player a wide open look because he's a high percentage three-point shooter, or he's a high percentage finisher at the rim. That's what this team needs to graduate to. And I know a lot of people on the show in the comments and everything over the course of the last couple of weeks have asked us, well, what about Quinn? Is Quinn safe? Is Quinn going to make it through the transition time? I don't know. Is Quinn Snyder the man for the job to take this team to where we all want them to go? I don't know. I'm not sure. I think if you gave Quinn Snyder championship caliber talent on this roster, I think he could do some pretty damn good things. But I think a lot of times he's playing with one hand behind his back, and that's why you are put in some of these positions. So overall, I think that they will act quickly. I think that Danny Ainge isn't going to mess around this summer, but we need to see that happen, right? If that happens, I will feel very confident in the game plan in this front office. I still think this front office has proving to do, without a doubt.
Oh, I don't think there's any question this front office has proving to do. I think we don't know what this front office is. Let's be honest. If we're truly being honest, talking about the Utah Jazz, if we're being bluntly honest, Danny Ainge and Ryan Smith need to show us all that they are not, Gail Miller for the last decade, teamed with Dennis Lindsey. Are Danny Ainge and Ryan Miller something different than Gale and Dennis were? That, I think, is a huge question for a lot of Jazz fans. And listen, I don't think there's any question that when LHM was alive, he sold out every single year to do what he could do to win a championship.
Yeah.
Things changed when he passed, unfortunately. The edict changed. I think we turned into a fan base in a town that fully realized that Gail Miller and her advisors, the family, they wanted to sell cars and movie tickets.
Yeah.
They didn't necessarily want to or need to win. The Jazz are a tax write-off at that point, right? Well, I think Ryan Smith has a different attitude. And I think Ryan Smith has told Donovan Mitchell multiple times, and I've confirmed it in the organization, that Ryan Smith has told Donovan Mitchell, this is your team. I'm going to spend every penny that I need to win a championship. Which is why yesterday everybody freaked out. Well, they saved $11 million in luxury tax on Joe Ingles, and they're being cheap. And they're not being cheap. They're being pragmatic.
Yeah.
Because that $11 million was money thrown away. Yeah, just throw it in the fire.
Yeah.
Because you're not going to win a championship this year before the Joe Ingles trade. Sadly, you're not going to win a championship after the Joe Ingles trade.
Right.
Because you are who we've always been.
Yeah.
Right? So it was smart, in my opinion, to save that money. Would I have liked the Jazz to have traded Jordan Clarkson? Yes. Talking to NBA guys yesterday, people around the NBA are shocked that the Jazz didn't make a larger move. But you're going to compete in the playoffs. I think, from what I understand, that's the messaging here. That the Jazz want it to be clear that they haven't given up on anything. That they believe in this group of players, which I don't think they do, but the messaging is, hey, we believe in this group of players, and we're going to try and do our best in the playoffs this year. And then when the summer comes, I actually do believe that Quinn Snyder will be replaced. I think that they will move on from Quinn Snyder. I think they will move on from Clarkson, Bogey, a good part of this roster. Those trades, and this is something else, and I don't know what you think about this, Jake, but I'm telling you now, Danny Ainge, during this trade deadline period, the last month and a half, Danny's been laying the foundation for relationships into the summer. And what I mean by that is all these conversations, because the Utah Jazz were one of the busiest teams at the deadline. During the trade period, which really since the turn of the calendar year, the Utah Jazz were the busiest team on the phones since January 1st. And what Danny Ainge was doing was not necessarily putting in work to make a deal now. He was putting in sweat equity to make a deal happen in the summer, because Danny Ainge will go back. He will go back to Boston. He will, I am telling you now, he will go back to Washington. He will go back and have the same conversations with the Sacramento Kings again. Those conversations are the beginning of relationships. And Danny, from what I understand, Danny's got good relationships with people in Boston. So he is, that's the deal that, listen, of all the deals that went down yesterday, the Josh Richardson deal should be really disappointing.
Right.
Because when you look at some of the teams and some of the players that the Jazz were linked to, obviously, I'm going to tell you here and now that we feel like, I feel like personally, we got it right at the trade deadline. We told you on this show yesterday, I didn't think Harrison Barnes was going to get dealt. That, sources had told me that the Sacramento Kings want to try and make the postseason, and that they're doing everything they can do to make the postseason.
Yeah.
And so when you look at some of the trades that went down, the Celtics traded Josh Richardson to the Spurs for Derek White.
Yeah.
You couldn't have sent Jordan Clarkson to Boston for Josh Richardson. I think that would have been an upgrade. Honestly, I look at Milwaukee, or excuse me, at Washington, and it is unthinkable to me that Montrezl Harrell, essentially was given away for a couple of nothing players.
Yeah.
I look at guys like, again, Spencer Dinwiddie's a guy that I value. Now, you don't have a Kristaps Porzingis. I don't know what the Dallas Mavericks were doing.
Yeah.
But hey, I understand that you weren't going to make that deal. I understand that you didn't, and I know a lot of Jazz fans thought Dennis Schroeder was coming here. The Jazz were never involved in a Dennis Schroeder conversation. That just did not happen. But I look at some of these other deals, the Tyrese Halliburton deal, that is stunning to me.
Yeah, it's shocking.
It's shocking. I look at the Charis Levert deal. Charis Levert would have been a very good addition to this team. And we talked about that a month ago, I guess now. Charis Levert's a guy that I would have gone and gotten. And you could have gotten him. I just look at some of these trades that happen, and I'm like, God, dog.
Yeah.
God damn. The Jazz could have made a trade. So it's not that they didn't want to. It's not that they could not have. But what should that signal to you as a Jazz fan? There is a greater plan in place.
Yeah.
That plan is, let's keep this group together because we're not getting what we want. Let's keep this group together. Let's see what we can do in the postseason. And then we're going to make foundational changes in the summer, which is usually when you see teams rebuild. Yeah. It is very rare. And I don't know, was there a rebuilding style trade made?
Not really.
I mean, the James Harden, Ben Simmons deal. I mean, obviously James is a free agent, and that's a foundational trade for the Nets. But you understand why they did that. They want to win right now today.
Well, and I think they also did it because they don't want to give James Harden away for free. I mean, that's essentially what you're looking at after the offseason, because he made it pretty clear that he was going to sign with the 76ers either way. So, no, I mean, I don't think that there was a rebuilding trade made. I think that there were some good decisions and some bad decisions made. I think the Nets and Sean Marks made a great decision. Hey, we're gonna lose, James Harden in free agency, for free. So let's make this trade now. Let's get our value now. And get that done. I think if you're Dallas, I'm not quite sure what you're doing. I don't know. I think that that trade really signaled to me that Luka doesn't and did not enjoy playing with Kristaps Porzingis, and that's why they made that move. Now, I still maintain that Luka's not a championship player. I still think he's too immature, and I think it's going to be quite a while.
And again, I want to couch this before I say it, but we talk about a lot of things like when I say I hate Luka Doncic, I don't know him as a human being. I don't hate him as a person. I can't stand watching him play basketball. I'm a very docile character.
What?
I want to punch him right in the face.
Stop disrespecting me, bro.
Man, like I'm serious. There are very few guys that I have disdain for.
I'll drop that motherfucker.
Luka Doncic is that dude. And I mean, honest to God, I would plant seed in his mom's garden. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, I guess I'll have to figure something out.
But I'll punch him in the face as soon as I'm done. As soon as I towel off, I'm getting up, going into his room, pulling him out of his race car crib and punching him in the fucking face. Like, I cannot stand Luka Doncic. Okay, I feel better.
Okay, good.
Brylark says, Jazz got a Jazz. See you next season.
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, it depending on where they land in the seedings. I mean, I could see them winning a playoff series. I'm certainly not telling you that the Jazz are a bad basketball team. They're not.
No, I think here's the thing. I think the Jazz have an opportunity still. They may win a playoff series. They may go to the Western Conference Finals. But I think right here today, if you ask anybody, nobody is going to sit here and tell you that the Utah Jazz are an NBA Finals threat. Can they go to the NBA Finals? Could it be a Cinderella story and they prove everybody wrong? Damn, I hope they do.
Today,
I really hope they do.
But Jake, today, if it ended, it'd be the Jazz and the Mavericks in the first round. The 4-5 matchup would be the Jazz.
That'd be a hell of a matchup.
Jazz would have home court advantage.
And not hating on the Jazz, and I'm not a Dallas Mavericks believer, but on paper, those are two pretty even teams. I think.
I think they are. I mean, again,
do the Jazz shoot 40% from three? Yes,
No.
they do. They win the game.
No, probably not.
No, they don't. They lose the game.
I hate Luka. And by the way, stop it. The Dallas Mavericks are only a game and a half behind the Jazz for the 4 spot. I mean, you're coming up here for the next week and a half, 2 weeks. What is it? I guess a week and a half into the trade deadline.
Sure.
Or, into the All-Star game. Dude, it's critical. You're a critical mass now. You cannot fall out of that 4 spot.
Yeah.
You fall out of that 4 spot, and I don't know. You're not catching Memphis.
Yeah.
You only have, what have you played here? 55 games? I mean, you only have 26 games left, something like that.
Is that what it is? 82 minus 55. 27.
27 games
I'm not
left.
a math major.
I mean, you're not going to make up 4 games on the Memphis Grizzlies in 27.
I mean, unless they would have to lose, 10 to 12, 12 to 15, but I don't see that team doing that.
I don't think so either. And the other thing that scares you a little bit is I still maintain this, and I know this pisses Jazz fans off, but what's going to happen when Jamal Murray comes back to the Denver Nuggets?
Yeah. And there's a lot of guys like that around the league, I feel like. You've got Jamal Murray. You've got, oh, my God. Dude from the Nets, Joe Harris. Joe Harris from the Nets. I mean, you've got guys. I mean, obviously for the Jazz, you have Rudy, right? I mean, you're still not playing at your full potential. But again, I just think. Listen, I think for the Jazz, this is the way I'd wrap this up. The Jazz are going to be a playoff team, obviously,
right?
And I think that this season it kind of is starting to feel like to me that this is kind of a hey, whatever happens this year. If you're the front office, hey, if we win a playoff series, great. We've done everything that we can do here. Will they get a buyout guy? Maybe. I don't know. But at the end of the day, this kind of feels like we're going to play this string out. We're going to see how far we can go, and then summer it's go time.
Well, and I also think that you look at what the Suns did yesterday.
Underrated, below the radar.
I mean, turning Jalen Smith into Torrey Craig, I think is a really smart move. I would love to have the Jazz to have added Torrey Craig.
Yeah.
I think that would have been a really pragmatic move. I think, that you only had to give up Jalen Smith to get Torrey Craig. I think you look at Justin Holiday. I think you just look at the moves the Suns made, and you understand that they're just trying to cement that.
Yeah.
You look at the Hornets getting Montrezl Harrell. I mean, that team needed Montrezl Harrell. And they needed a backup big, and they sure as hell went and got it. I think that deal, and the fact of the matter is you gave up Vernon Carey and Ish Smith to get Montrezl Harrell.
Who the f*** is that guy?
Like, it's so frustrating
I'm sorry,
to me.
did you say Vernon Carey?
That's so frustrating to me.
Who the fuck are you?
That you got one of the best backup bigs in the NBA for Vernon Carey and Ish Smith. Like that deal to me, you can't tell me that Montrezl Harrell isn't automatically your number 2 center on this team.
Automatic.
I mean, he would be a huge upgrade to Hassan Whiteside and Dope.
Dude, imagine a lineup like, and this is what I mean when I say that Quinn doesn't have options. Imagine a lineup in the option to play Montrez at the 4, Rudy at the 5,
Man.
Don at the 2, Conley at the 1, and Bogey at the 3. I mean that's a great lineup, man. I mean that gives you options, But that's why I say right now this team just doesn't have the options it needs to compete at the highest levels. Can they compete on a second tier level? Yes. Can they compete for, win a first round, lose in the second round, maybe win the second round, go to the Western Conference Finals? Yeah, sure. They can do that. But when we're talking about championships, that's what they're missing.
Yep, I agree with you totally. Yeah.
Totes, man.
Snook, what's up? He says, morning, the audio works. Congratulations. Thank you.
Hey, guys.
Thank you. Neville93 says, good morning, guys. Going to Aspen to snowboard. Shout out to Mo Bamba.
Hey, there you go, bro.
My
there
dude.
you go.
Mrs. Monty and Jake did not want to go to Aspen, so we didn't go.
Yeah,
this year.
sure, because that's what we said. That's what we said.
Yeah, how many times have I said, let's go to Aspen? And you're like, no, I got head to get. Can't do it.
Facts.
Rudy Sanchez says, morning, fellas. Any words on the buyout market? I love Gary Harris. I think you need a legitimate backup point guard. And if you look at the names out there, I mean, I'm not an Eric Bledsoe, certainly not a Dennis Schroeder.
Gary Harris isn't a backup guard, man. He's a starter in this league.
Well, he's going to get bought out.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I could see, I could see the Magic waiving him. If Gary Harris becomes available, I would absolutely.
Beyond that,
you also have bird rights on that. Like, I think I could see, he would be a great pickup. There's not a whole lot of other guys that you're interested in.
Yeah.
Are you interested in you already have Hernan Gomez. I think he's a waive candidate. I mean, a waive buyout guy. But what are you going to do? Go get Robin Lopez? You're going to have to compete with 5 guys for that, 5 other teams. That doesn't make a lot of sense. I mean, the guys you need, like Thomas Satoransky's a guy that I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Thomas Satoransky's got value. He's a guy that could help you. Ben McLemore is another guy.
I like him a lot.
I'd look at
Role
Ben
player,
McLemore.
shoots the hell out of the ball.
Yeah, he's a great 3-point shooter. Paul Millsap traded to the Sixers. I would love Paul Millsap on this team, a veteran, he's the kind of presence you need on this team. Paul Millsap's a guy I would look at. I don't know other than that. I mean, I don't know what the Lakers are going to do, who they're going to wind up buying out, but there's probably not much there that helps you.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not looking at Kent Bazemore. DeAndre Jordan's a guy, but that's not a fit here. Like, I don't know.
I don't think they're going to do a ton in the buyout. I mean, maybe a guy here or there, but I don't think you're going to see them doing a ton.
I don't either. I think you really need obviously you need athletic wing defending, and I think if you're going to spend your money, it's going to be on wings in I think a legit backup point guard.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I'd be looking at, but this doesn't seem like a buyout situation. The Jazz don't seem like a team that's going to go and pay somebody to, that doesn't make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Is what I'm saying. So I don't think there's much. Edgar Garcia, what's up? Jeremy Bolton, good morning to you. The Nye guy says, water's wet. Harden is a puss fart. And the Jazz will not. I thought you said,
I'm sorry.
Did you say puss fart?
Bro, what?
Do you, maybe could you define puss fart? We're
really focused on Philadelphia right now.
Yeah. Hello. The Jazz will not win a championship. We are too loyal to staff and players. But are you? That's what we're going to find out. Steve Hambone says, good morning, boys. What's up, Steve? Mr. E, how are you? Ainge had no leverage, no cap, no draft capital. Thanks, Dennis Lindsay's mediocre, crazy decisions. Yeah. Maybe in the offseason we can see something happen. Dane says more. Dane, what's up? We still need to hook up on the shirt.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Jeremy Bolton said, is Gobert's contract truly untradeable, or is there a chance to move that? It is one of the more difficult. It's on the line of a Russell Westbrook deal.
That's the summer situation, though.
Yeah, that doesn't happen at the trade deadline.
Yeah, that's a summer deal.
Yeah. And by the way, teams that make trades at the deadline where you send out your best player,
Kristaps Porzingis.
well, I mean, Luka's their best player, but when you tear something down at the deadline, you're fatally flawed.
Yeah.
So that's why I say, like, I'm not really that surprised they didn't do that. A Rudy Gobert, a Donovan Mitchell, I could have seen them moving Jordan Clarkson, Bogey, Royce O'Neal. Like, Royce O'Neal's a guy you need to not be loyal to.
Yeah.
That's a very upgradable guy. So I would just say don't be loyal there. Tanner says, who do you think would replace Quinn Snyder? I have no idea.
No idea. We're
No
not there
idea.
yet.
Yeah,
We're not there yet.
I think we're way ahead of that. Teddy Wayman, what's up? Christ destroys big tech, Marxism loses. Says eating a delicious breakfast burrito and it's amazing. Oh, that sounds so good.
Yeah.
Tanner says, side note, the Jazz play Mo Bamba and the Magic tonight. They do.
They do play Mo Bamba and the Magic tonight.
Shout out to Mo Bamba.
They do. Shout out to Bol. Frank H says, I think this is our best chance. The Nuggets, Clippers, etc. will be at full strength next season. Also, Blazers, Grizzlies, Pelicans will be better as well. They will be.
Are you getting DMs?
I am.
Who the hell is DMing you?
Barry.
Pack your shit. Let's go.
Barry, please.
Okay, I'm just going to read this straight away just because I can. So Barry says, many apologies. I know that I melted down the other day, but now I need to eat crow. You guys actually nailed the trade deadline for once. Okay, so wait. I'm sorry. So I thought you said you were going to eat crow, and then you were apologizing for melting down, and then you said you nailed the trade deadline for once. That's like saying, hey, baby, yeah, you look great.
Hey, guys.
You've lost weight and stuff. You
Hey, guys.
you got a long way to go, fat ass. But
Hey,
I mean, you
guys.
look great. Why the backhanded compliment? Why the backhanded?
That's Barry being Barry.
Backhanded compliment. You're completely wrong though about Rudy Gobert. That's the guy that you center this organization on. They already are. He's the generational. He's the foundation.
Nah.
He's the leader. Donovan Mitchell is soft. He wants it handed to him. Have a great trip to L.A.
Well, thanks for the opinion, at least.
Yeah,
I can respect your opinion.
I do respect your opinion. But listen, I think that this conversation with Rudy and Don is going to be a conversation until they
can't win a championship together. Let's just put it out there. They're not compatible.
I don't disagree with that. I think that's just one of those things where, you know, it's a really difficult decision either way you go. Saying goodbye to Rudy Gobert, I mean, you won't miss the contract, but I mean, he's a hell of a defensive player. And for everything that Rudy Gobert is not, he inflicts a tremendous price on the opponent. He is very impactful in the games. And so getting rid of him is not something that you do lightly. Getting rid of Donovan Mitchell will be a very difficult decision. That's not something you do lightly. He is you look at the Poole play the other night where he committed an offensive foul that was, okay, you're right. It wasn't called.
Dude, it wasn't.
Where he bodied Jordan Poole,
Yeah.
who fell over.
Yeah.
Don stepped back and hit a three. And then, of course, he posed because he's in the championships and he hit a game-winning shot. That's why
Sorry if you're offended by that.
that's why he posed like, oh, no, wait, it's only February. My bad.
Too fucking bad, man.
Anyway, I hate when players do that. Oh, it's a three in a regular season game that means nothing. But you see the way the crowd gets into it. His teammates get into it. They rally around him. They chest bump him. He's like standing there posing.
Okay, can you never make that sound again?
Never.
No.
And then everybody
no,
comes up
no,
and gives him 5.
No.
So you can see that Don's teammates like him. Don, you know what it is? Don's teammates respect his game.
Yeah.
That's what you see on the floor. They don't respect Rudy's offensive game.
Yeah.
And by the way, This is not a big man's league.
Nope.
You don't build your team around a big man and win a championship. How are you paying Rudy Gobert? It flipped the contracts, and this is not a conversation.
You need to win a championship in this league now. You need wings who are 6'5", 6'6", and really athletic. That's what you need. Like,
Yeah.
honest to God, that's what you need.
You know, I think it is. So, Jesus Christ destroys big tech, Marxism loses. I'm just going to call.
Just gets me every
I'm just going to
time,
say
bro.
Marxism. Says Donovan broke his ankle, and that's why Poole fell into the pool. Well, no, he didn't. Actually, he shouldered him and then pushed him. It wasn't a move. He was driving on him.
God bless.
You know, it is what it is. Xavier Pena says it was MJ-ish.
No, it was not. No, it was not. Stop.
Edgar Garcia says Jake's drops have been on point today.
Thank you, Edgar. I appreciate that.
Sean Mirzinski says, who won the Harden trade? To me, it's the Sixers. Did nobody watch the way Simmons played in the playoffs? But here's the difference. I think the Nets by far won the deal. I don't even think it's close. Because what happened to Ben Simmons in the playoffs? Well, you asked Ben Simmons to shoot a three. That wasn't going to happen. You eroded his confidence. You made him the center of your offense because I want to say that Joel was not nearly 100%.
Yeah.
That's not who Ben Simmons is. Ben Simmons is a facilitator. So what you see Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons is the guy, and ESPN did a great breakdown on this, who can rebound a ball in the paint, take one dribble and be at half court, and then he makes a pass for a layup. Ben Simmons, and the biggest difference between Ben Simmons and James Harden is Ben Simmons doesn't need the ball to be incredibly impactful. So Ben Simmons is a guy who plays at a very high pace. Look at how he's played against the Jazz. Running up and down the floor, attacking Rudy Gobert at the basket.
Yeah.
I'm for real.
That's what the Nets don't have.
Yeah.
James Harden is not that guy. That is not who Kyrie Irving is. Kyrie Irving is a wonderful handle guy with a great shot.
Yeah.
He is not somebody that distributes.
Kyrie Irving is a generational scorer.
Yes, as is Kevin
Durant.
Durant. What do they not have on that team? They don't have a point guard who distributes. It's not James Harden. It is not Patty Mills. Patty Mills' best, highest uses is a shooter, a spot-up shooter in the corner.
Yeah.
You needed Ben Simmons. And by the way, what's Ben Simmons going to do in a head-to-head matchup against Philly? He's going to lock down James Harden.
Oh, yeah. Well, and that's the thing. I think that the reason I think the Nets won the trade is because I think Ben Simmons gives the Nets more options than James Harden gives the Sixers more options. I think Ben Simmons can play the point guard. But Ben Simmons, to be clear, Ben Simmons can play all five positions. But I think
Yes.
on the Nets, in this specific use and situation, Ben Simmons is probably gonna play the 95% of the time. But there's another 5% of the time when teams go small where he's gonna play the 5. And then you're going to have KD at the 4, you're going to have Kyrie at the 1, and then you're going to fill the other 2 wing spots. And they're also going to dominate you in that setup. And I think that really is what's going to set them apart. They don't have to worry.
Correct.
They don't have to worry about what the big man production is going to be on this team because their bigs can do a ton of different stuff. So in Philly, the reason
Yes.
Ben Simmons really struggled is because they asked him to be a scorer. They relied on those, and this is kind of my thing with Rudy, right? On the Jazz. The Sixers asked Ben Simmons to score 25 a night for them to win. They needed his buckets to win. With the Nets, they need him to be like 15 points, but like 12 to 15 assists. Put guys in position to score.
Wait, they need buckets? So
Yeah.
buckets O'Neal.
No.
James Knight says, I hope these mofos get beat by Brooklyn and get burned in the East. Wow. Jeremy Bolton says, you mean to say you don't build a team around defensive big men only. You can build around Jokic and Embiid.
Yes.
Well, are the Denver Nuggets really built around Nicola Jokic?
Yeah, I think so.
Because they're suffering without Jamal Murray.
I mean, that might be true, but Jokic is an MVP now.
But was he an MVP before Murray got hurt?
No?
Probably not.
Yeah.
And now he's the only guy on that team you really fear. I look at Embiid. Well, why did you need to make a trade? Well, you needed to make a trade because Joel Embiid cannot do it on his own. So again, and I'm just saying, those guys are spectacular players. I think Joe is going to win the MVP this year.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any doubt. As you plainly stated, Doughboy is an MVP.
Yeah.
I mean, Nicola Jokic.
Right.
Not myself.
Right. Right.
Anyway, the point is,
right.
These big guys are incredibly impactful. They cannot be the focal point of your offense, the sole reason you win or lose.
Yeah.
Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, Kevin Durant, LeBron James, those guys are the sole reasons their teams won and lost, right? I mean, you look at what LeBron's doing now, he's the only thing the Lakers have. And he's 58, so it's not enough.
Yeah.
Right? The biggest disappointment in LA is not Russell Westbrook, it's Anthony Davis.
Right.
So I think, to your point, I know what you're saying, JB. I really do. My personal opinion is you have to have a dominant wing player to match with an offensive-minded center. And it's really the
street clothes Davis.
Yeah, it's you know what the issue really is for the Jazz is that Rudy Gobert does not have much value on the offensive end.
That's the issue.
Yeah, that's the issue because he's stellar defensively. I don't think any of us question that.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Cody Strickland said the Nets won, not because Simmons at all, but all the assets that came with him. Oh, that's a great point.
Yeah.
You got multiple first-round picks. You got the weight of the world lifted off of Kevin Durant live on TNT last night.
Man, that
which was amazing.
So funny,
oh, my
dude.
God. I think that you're exactly right, Cody Strickland. They both make it far. I think the Nets are a better team than the Sixers.
Yeah.
And I think if New York lifts its COVID restrictions, which now it looks like they are.
It does seem like the COVID thing is chilling out a little bit. You know, California is removing its mask mandates. It looks like New York's relaxing a little bit. It seems I'm waiting for the world's ending variant to come out.
Well, and I think you're not seeing that. Well, no, I'm not. Fuck off. I'm not doing it. No, I am not. No, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. No. Teddy says, I think the Nets won by far. They got Simmons and Seth Curry, who can shoot the lights out. I would agree with that.
Yeah.
K. Nurin says, yes, the Nets won the trade. Greg Hawkins, sup, fellas? Sorry I'm late. Greg, we've talked about this.
Greg?
Come on, man.
Look, man, I don't want to give you detention or Saturday school. I really don't.
Bro.
But if you continue to be late, Greg. Anyway, he said, had to stream until the top of the hour. Nice.
What the fuck does one thing have
So
to
wait.
do with the other?
Are you saying that your stream's more important than my stream? Can we cross the streams? What
Dude.
movie is that a reference to?
I don't know. Like, what do you...
You can't ever cross the streams.
What are you talking about, dog? Like,
Nobody knows that reference?
No.
Brett, do you know that reference?
No.
That's pretty much self-explanatory.
I should just leave.
Who would know? What do you mean crossing the river? What is this?
I
A
didn't
reference
say
to going to hell?
crossing the river. I said you can never cross the streams.
Bro.
That's a Ghostbusters reference.
We're on to Cincinnati.
That's a Ghostbusters reference.
Who the would know that?
Look, everybody knows it.
Dude.
Rylark finding the truth.
Bro.
Rudy Sanchez. Everybody knows that.
I'm going to say this again.
I am hung like a steer.
Stop.
Have
He's
you
a
ever?
brilliant guy.
I am. Have you ever seen Ghostbusters?
No.
God.
No.
Never.
Yeah, but you watched Brokeback Mountain Alone in the Dark the other night, didn't you?
Never.
Stop.
John Jackson says, how old are you, 13? Yeah, exactly. Jake, I'm 3 years older than you, and I know that, Cody Strickland says.
Dude.
Kitty says, crossing the river, Jake. Get the fuck out of here.
Bro.
I told you, man. People know Ghostbusters.
Dude, this is wild. That is such an obscure reference.
It's
dude.
not that obscure,
Dude,
though.
that thing is out there, bro.
Whatever. Do you guys see what I have to deal with? Do you? I mean,
So that's how it's going to
do you see what I have to deal? Wow, crossing the river. You don't cross the streams ever
That's it, Skippy.
until you need to.
Yeah.
Cody says, Monty, you failed at being a father. He's never seen Ghostbusters, and he's never seen The Godfather. which is ridiculous.
He's a bum.
What the hell, Jake? Everyone knows that. Chris
Apparently, Jesus.
This is fucking America.
Yeah, like I guess. Yeah, I don't know, dude.
Tanner Plummer says, guys. I
Dude.
didn't know you were a Brokeback fan, Jake.
Hey, guys.
I'm not. I ain't actually never seen that movie.
Hey, guys.
Jake in the dark, alone, under a blanket,
Lidocaine and B12.
just him and Alexa watching Brokeback Mountain. Just
Bro.
visualize that. Just visualize that. I lost all my faith in Jake, Brylark says. Exactly right.
I mean, yeah, obviously I don't know shit about shit because I ain't seen that movie or know
can't-
that reference.
What are some of the other movies you like? I haven't, admittedly, I've never watched Lion King. I've only watched part of Nemo on the frickin' Kennedy Expressway to,
Bro, it's
Greatness.
the East Australian Current, the EAC. How hard is that to remember?
yeah, whatever. I've seen all the Toy Stories.
Come on, man.
I haven't seen the race car cartoon movie.
Lightning McQueen.
There you go. What about the little guys?
Hey, guys.
And there's a new one of them that just came out. The movie
Minions. Despicable Me.
Despicable Me. I saw Despicable Me with you guys, right?
I think I thought that was a funny movie.
And I got on the Toy Story ride with you guys, right?
I guess. That
You've
Toy
never-
Story 3.
And you still
You
to
don't
this
know
day,
the greatness of the frickin' what is it? Pizza Port or whatever it's called. The I can't remember what it's called off the top of my head. I have to look it up.
Are we anyway? There you go. Lion King is awesome. Teddy Wayman says I should see it. The night guy says Jerk and the Gherkin. Exactly right.
Pizza Planet. You don't know the greatness of Pizza Planet, bro.
Never heard of it.
Dude, Pizza Planet is fire.
What is Pizza Planet?
It's out of Toy Story 1.
I've seen Toy Story 1.
No, you haven't.
Yes, I have seen all the Toy Stories.
No, you haven't.
Me and Mrs. Monty created children to that movie. Well, we attempted to.
Facts.
That's a
Wow.
lie. I made that up.
And just kind of scruff it and play with it when it's wet.
Only you, man. That the new Buzz movie coming out in June looks good. It does.
Yeah.
It does. Jake hasn't seen Brokeback. He lived it.
Yeah, hey man, you know.
Fat Jesus in the house.
What's up, Fat Jesus?
How did we lose control of this show? Oh, because you've never
you
seen
made some
Ghostbusters.
crossing the river reference, and now all of a sudden we're down, what movies we haven't seen.
Ah, unbelievable.